deadhead, and I'm for Kamala.
I'm a deadhead and I support Kamala.
I'm a deadhead and I'm for Kamala.
I'm a deadhead for Kamala.
I'm a deadhead for Kamala.
I'm a deadhead, and I'm for Kamala.
I'm a deadhead and I support Kamala.
I'm a deadhead, and I'm for Kamala.
I'm a deadhead for Kamala.
I'm a deadhead for Kamala. I'm a deadhead, and I'm for Kamala.
I'm a deadhead for Kamala.
I'm a deadhead, and it's all about Kamala.
I am a deadhead for Kamala. I'm a deadhead for Kamala.
I'm a deadhead for Kamala. I'm a deadhead and I support Kamala.
I'm a deadhead for Kamala.
I'm a deadhead for Kamala. I'm a deadhead for Kamala. I'm a deadhead for Kamala. I'm a deadhead for Kamala.
I'm a deadhead, and I'm for Kamala.
I'm a deadhead, and I'm for Kamala.
We're deadheads, so of course we support Kamala.
I'm a deadhead for Kamala. I'm a deadhead supporting Kamala. Come on, let's spread the Kamala.
Because with Kamala, there's help on the way. I'm a deadhead, and I'm for Kamala.
I'm a deadhead and I support Kamala.
I'm a deadhead and I'm for Kamala.
I'm a deadhead for Kamala.
I'm a deadhead for Kamala.
I'm a deadhead, and I'm for Kamala.
I'm a deadhead and I support Kamala.
I'm a deadhead, and I'm for Kamala.
I'm a deadhead for Kamala.
I'm a deadhead for Kamala. I'm a deadhead, and I'm for Kamala.
I'm a deadhead for Kamala.
I'm a deadhead, and it's all about Kamala.
I am a deadhead for Kamala. I'm a deadhead for Kamala.
I'm a deadhead for Kamala. I'm a deadhead and I support Kamala.
I'm a deadhead for Kamala.
I'm a deadhead for Kamala. I'm a deadhead for Kamala. I'm a deadhead for Kamala. I'm a deadhead for Kamala.
I'm a deadhead, and I'm for Kamala.
I'm a deadhead, and I'm for Kamala.
We're deadheads, so of course we support Kamala.
I'm a deadhead for Kamala. I'm a deadhead supporting Kamala. Come on, let's spread the Kamala.
Because with Kamala, there's help on the way.
Must be getting early. Clocks are running late. Paint my numbers, morning sky. Looks so phony. Deadhead.
Please. I'm so glad to see my friends from the Grateful.
My name is David Gans. I'm a musician and a broadcaster and an author and stuff. And I'm a Deadhead and I'm a voter for Kamala. I've been a Deadhead and a voter since 1972. I was 19 in 1972 when they changed the Constitution or the laws to allow guys like me to vote at my age. I've missed a few dead shows over those last years, but I have never missed an election. I was raised to pay attention and vote, and I believe that voting is an important act for all of us because the society should reflect all of us and all of our wishes, and we should not surrender the field to other people who are more highly motivated. So this mission tonight is to motivate Deadheads to get out there, support Kamala Harris, and to persuade our friends and evangelize this. We've got a long haul ahead of us till the election, and we need all of us to pull together. We want to raise money today, but we also want to raise spirits. The most important thing going on right now is to get rid of the spiteocracy that has been dominating the political discourse over the last several decades. We are trying to bring joy and compassion back to the public discourse. And I don't know of a better subculture than the Deadheads to do that because we all love each other pretty damn fiercely. This all began when Steve Leventhal called me a mere 2 weeks ago. He carries my radio show on Acid Flashback Radio, and he said, hey, let's do a Deadheads for Kamala thing. We thought maybe we'd get it done in time for Jerry's birthday, but that was silly, so we decided to give ourselves a little more time. I called my friends and colleagues Peter Shapiro and Lena Cohn. They both jumped into this with both feet. Steve recruited Mayor Nancy Rotering from Highland Park, Illinois. And we've put together an amazing team with the help of Brian Stevens and Jill Bernstein. We've got an amazing evening of entertainment and enlightenment on tap for you here. I'm just overwhelmed by the cool stuff that we have and great people that have stepped up. Several of them just came to us and volunteered, and nobody said no to us when we reached out to them. Without further ado, I'm going to hand you off to Steve Leventhal now, who will move the proceedings forward. I'll see you again a little later with exhortations to donate.
I am Steve Leventhal. I am from Acid Flashback Radio and Internet FM, and I've been on the bus since 1985, and I am voting for Kamala. David, I do want to thank him so much. The mere fact that he said yes to my request, it really enabled all this to be possible. I also want to thank my wife because she didn't laugh too hard when I said, I want to do a Zoom for Deadheads. So that basically set this in motion. And you guys are going to see an amazing show. I've been backstage. I've seen several of the people who are going to be on board. You're going to love this. There are a couple of people I'd like to single out, though, who certainly helped make this possible and take this to the next level. Some of you will see, like Lena and Peter. Also, some people who are working behind the scenes, like Jazz and Harrison, who helped with the website. I want to thank Nancy Rotering and Michelle, who is at the DNC, because they helped make a lot of this possible. Also, if you don't mind, a little shout out to Otis and everyone down in North Carolina. I want to see you guys turn the whole state Tar Heel blue, not just the big cities. So since we've got a lot going on here and I want to have a lot of fun just like the rest of you, I'm going to turn it over to Gary Lambert. So, hey, let's get on with the show.
Thank you, Steve. Am I on? I guess I am. Hey, everyone. I'm delighted to be here, if still a little groggy from the red eye back from Vegas, but I wouldn't be anywhere else right now. I've been in the inescapable gravitational pull of the Grateful Dead for about 56 years now. And I've been, oddly enough, a public Deadhead of sorts for going on 20 years. And I encounter a lot of people with a lot of opinions about this world, and some of them are hasty to say politics has no place in the world of the Grateful Dead. The Grateful Dead were not political. They were apolitical. And knowing the history as I do, I can tell you that's just not true. The very first show they did as the Grateful Dead, after being the Warlocks, the first public show they did was a benefit for the San Francisco Mime Troupe, an explicitly political theater troupe that did free satirical work in the parks of San Francisco and often got busted for it because they did it without a permit. And the Dead jumped in with a bunch of other San Francisco bands, did a benefit for them. And ever since then, they were always there for a good cause. First locally, they worked with the Black Panther Party, which is hardly apolitical. And then when they went more national, they started supporting more causes, also of very, very specific nature. They were not just vaguely charitable. They helped start the Rainforest Action Network, which was not one of those polite, please recycle, don't litter kind of groups. They were directly engaged in pointing out and criticizing the geopolitical and corporate causes of the destruction of our environment. And then in 1984, they started the Rex Foundation, which has given away more than $10 million, almost all of it to causes you would definitely call progressive, educational, environmental, helping marginalized people. And they continue to do that today in the new incarnations, and they will continue to do so. So please join this progressive cause that we are involved in now. And now I get to hand off to maybe the most delicious and nourishing part of our program tonight. Ben Cohen and Jerry Greenfield, please step on in.
Hi, how you doing? I'm Ben. We're unmuted.
You're on there.
Good. You can say hi. He's Jerry.
The ice cream guys. We're here in Vermont. How you guys all doing?
The Dead were always about community and taking care of each other. And I think that's what this election is about. Are we going to elect a president who's going to create community and care for all of us? Or is it going to be just me? The Dead, when I think about the Dead, I think about Box of Rain and Ripple and, Uncle John's band. And I guess you can tell how old I am from that. So, Kamala, what she's about in terms of regulating rents so they don't come so high, capping prescription drugs, protecting healthcare coverage, that's caring for all of us. And that's what I want. So, yeah, I'm a Grateful Deadhead, and I'm for Kamala.
We're thrilled to be here. I think Kamala's bringing a joy to the work for justice, and that enthusiasm has really been contagious. We're all eating ice cream. We're eating a little too much Cherry Garcia over the years, but we're doing all right with it. It's time to go out and knock on doors, make sure your friends are all registered, bring somebody with you to the polls to vote, and let's win in November. Thanks for having us here.
Take care.
I'm so glad to see my friends from the Grateful Dead supporting Kamala Harris. I remember going to so many Dead concerts when I was a U.S. Senator and seeing how they brought people together. I even recall the time I brought them to lunch in the senator's dining room. Republicans and Democrats came to be with them. Well, I look at Kamala Harris as she campaigns. She's bringing people together, Republicans, Democrats, independents, because she's speaking to the values of America. I encourage her to come on the Senate Judiciary Committee when she came to the Senate. She's a former prosecutor. She knows how the laws are to be enforced. She knows how to do it, and she did. She was a superb senator and a superb vice president, and she'll be a superb president. For one thing, she knows our law, and she adheres to them. She knows our Constitution, and she adheres to that. Her opponent wants to deal in rhetoric and ignore the law. She deals in reality, and she supports our Constitution, and I support her for President of the United States.
Hey now, Deadheads. This is Jeannie Albert. I'm here in beautiful Vermont. It's so great to be with my Deadhead family, supporting Kamala and Tim. My almost first show was the closing of Winterland in 1978 when I was 16. I knew then I would have to get on the bus, which I did the following spring in Billerica, Massachusetts. I know everybody on this call has felt that moment of oneness with the band, with each other, everybody moving together. Now we have an opportunity to take that feeling and make history by electing Kamala and Tim President and Vice President of the United States. And what's great is in a community, everybody has a role to play. You can text, you can call, you can write letters, you can talk to your friends, and of course you can donate money tonight and throughout the campaign as much as you're able. In my case, I'm actually running for office in Vermont. I'm running for the Vermont House of Representatives. Vermont is a community-sized state. You can give back locally, you can give back at the state level, and everywhere in between. And today is my primary. So tonight, I'm going to find out if come November, I'm going to be on the same ballot as Kamala. So exciting. For the last few weeks, it sometimes felt like an incredible dream. Let's put a ton of love in that dream and make it come true. Let's make history, Deadheads, and have some fun doing it. Woo!
Hey, I'm Lebo.
I'm Zach. I'm Steve.
I'm Ezra. We are ALO, and we are Deadheads for Kamala.
Right outside there's this summer. Ain't got time to call your solar critic now. Right outside the lazy gate, winter, summer home. Wonder when the night thatch winter rings a mile long, just carry wake up to find out that you are the eyes of the world. The heart has its beaches, its homeland, and thoughts of its own. Wake now, discover that you are the song that the morning brings. The heart has its seasons, its evenings, its songs of its own.
Hey, everybody. My name is Jay Blakesberg, and I am a deadhead for Kamala. I've been a photographer for many, many decades. I've made my entire career in the arts as a photographer. I've been very fortunate, and my story goes back to public high school in the late 1970s when they built a darkroom my senior year, and I was the first person to ever make a print in that darkroom, and here I am 45 years later, still working in the field of photography. We know the GOP is big on cuts for the arts and education. And I've always been a firm believer that we need art, right? Art is all about inspiration, and inspiration breeds passion. And if we live in a world without inspiration, no matter what the art is, and there is no passion, then we're living in a world that's a gray existence. And I personally prefer to live in a multicolored psychedelic world. And the arts is what does that. So let's not let the GOP get elected and kill the arts in our schools, because we need that to be multifaceted human beings that are inspired by what we see and hear: dance, music, photography, painting, graphic arts. The list goes on and on. So that's what I have to say. And I think about arts and how important it is to our education system. We know that the GOP wants to destroy the entire education system, banning books, banning art, everything. Let's not let that happen. The other thing that I want to say with my last 40 seconds here of my 2 minutes
is, the election, the first election in 2016 with the Orange Menace really was about the Supreme Court. And we've seen what happened. 8 years ago, I was telling all my friends that it was about abortion and other rights and women's rights. And I was correct. And it's still about that. I do not want my children's children to live in a horrible conservative right-wing society. And it's still about the Supreme Court. So let's make sure we vote blue, vote Kamala, vote blue across the board. That's what it's about. It's still about the Supreme Court. All right. Love to all the deadheads. Take it away.
Hi, everyone. My name is Matthew Rhodes, and I'm a movie and television producer based in Los Angeles, and I'm a deadhead for Kamala. As someone who's worked in the entertainment business for nearly 30 years, I wanted to share how politics can have an impact on arts and music. Growing up, I went to a school that had arts and music classes, and that path led me to do what I do today, which is make movies that have an impact on the world. But many of you don't know that each fiscal year, there's a very specific budget in our government that's set aside to fund the National Endowment of the Arts, the NEA. And each year, I work closely with my colleagues in the entertainment business to lobby and keep this funding program in place and grow it even larger over time. What makes this budget so important is that it actually funds the National Endowment of the Arts, the NEA, and then in turn, the NEA funds various arts and music programs throughout our country. One example includes funding arts and music classes in public schools. Like, could you imagine that without this budget, some kids would go to school without any arts and music classes? No glue sticks for the kids. This budget's in jeopardy every year. And the current budget surprisingly rests around $207 million per fiscal year. And you should know that the Biden administration not only helped keep this budget in place, but they asked for a budget increase of $210 million when opposing forces want to use our arts and music money for other things. Just last month, the House Appropriations Committee marked up its 2025 fiscal year bill and proposed a cut to the NEA down to $203 million. And you can imagine this is hardly enough money. Maybe it's why teachers are paying for our school supplies themselves. Well, this reduction would be a setback for many organizations that rely on federal funding to provide essential arts and music programs to the public, particularly those in underserved and high-poverty communities. Our current administration and the upcoming Kamala Walz administration support the arts. They see the value of this investment in the children of the future. The House Appropriations Committee proposed cuts are short-sighted and would be a huge step backwards for arts and music in our country. And study after study, it's proven that exposure to visual arts, music, theater, and dance make our country's most vulnerable populations happier, healthier, and successful in life. Art is the heartbeat of our community. It connects us, inspires us, and often drives economic growth. Kamala and Walz understand what it takes to support the arts and music. They know what to do for our country, and we can all fight for this cause. Thank you for your time. Please go out and vote.
Hello, everyone. I'm Rev Yearwood, and I am a deadhead for Kamala and Tim. Man, I'm so glad to be with you. I'm so excited that we are having this opportunity. But I do have some important news. We are in the midst of a climate crisis, and we cannot have anyone who is a climate denier anywhere near the White House. You are disqualified from public office if you are a climate denier. This is our moment. In 1968, Dr. King was assassinated in Memphis, Tennessee, fighting for sanitation workers. But this year, we now have sanitation workers who are dying on the jobs in cities like Memphis and Baltimore because of the heat. The old administration wants us to go back to coal and gas and oil, but we're not going back. We are not going back. We demand clean air. We demand clean water. We're not going back. They want us to go back to being dependent on fossil fuels, but not clean energy. But we are not going back. We are standing here as deadheads, as humans, as people who understand that we must take on this climate crisis and take it on now. So we must elect climate champions. We must elect Kamala and Tim to go to office to make sure that the future generations have clean air and clean water. This is our moment. This is our time. This is our moment to stop the madness and send those back to the heat of the death pen who want to keep us locked in to fossil fuels. We are not going back. We are not going back. We are not going back. This is our time. This is our moment. We demand fossil free right now. End fossil fuels now.
Hey, everybody. My name is Zoe Ellis. This is my big brother, Dave Ellis. And we're here for Deadheads for Kamala. We're part of the Dead family. We are Rat Dog, Phil Lesh and Friends, the other one, Further. And we can do this. We can do this. We need you to keep the faith, though. So let's do that. Let's sing about it, huh? Here we go, y'all. I want to say to my sisters and my brothers, keep the faith when the storm flies and the wind blows. Go on at a steady pace. When the battle is fought and the victory's won, we can all shout together, we have overcome. We'll talk to the Father and the Son when we make it to the promised land. If we walk together, little children, we don't ever have to worry. Through this world of trouble, we got to love one another. Let us take our fellow man by the hand and try to help him to understand. We can all be together forever and ever when we make it to the promised land. I wish you would sing that with us. Let's walk, y'all. If we walk together, little children, we don't ever have to worry. And through this world of trouble, we got to love one another. Let us take our fellow woman by the hand and try to help her to understand. We can all be together forever and ever when we make it to the promised land. You know what? We can all be together forever and ever when we make it to the promised land. Let's make it.
Hi, my name is Neil Katyal, and I'm a law professor at Georgetown. And I was at the Sphere last week with Mickey, and I was reflecting on the energy that Vice President Harris has brought to the race. And I kept on thinking about the phrase, "Are you kind?" That's what came to my mind at the Sphere, because she is kind, she's decent, she represents the best of America. Now, I've been asked to talk about immigration, and let me first say a word about her opponent, because it's worth remembering what he did the last time when he was in charge of immigration. You all may remember those scenes at the airports during Donald Trump's first weekend as president. He issued a Muslim ban, fulfilling his campaign promise. Literally, his campaign promise said, quote, "I, Donald J. Trump, am calling for a complete and total shutdown of all Muslim immigration to the United States." And he later said, "I think Islam hates us." I had the privilege of challenging Donald Trump's Muslim ban, won it 2 times in the courts. He then revised it, made it a little bit better, and that unfortunately led the U.S. Supreme Court and Trump's appointees to approve this horrendous Muslim ban 5-4 in the Supreme Court, despite our great and glorious First Amendment, which guarantees no establishment of religion. Now, that says something about Donald Trump's views on immigration and his views on the United States Supreme Court. And I want to contrast that with our great vice president. Kamala Harris is tough on illegal immigration at the border, but she understands just how important immigration is to the heart and soul of this country. I've often thought it takes an immigrant to truly appreciate this country. I mean, for immigrants, just imagine what they left behind to come here. For them, what a long, strange trip it's been. I think about my parents, the most patriotic American people I've ever met. And I think that's true of the vice president's mom. And I think the vice president brings the kind of humane, intelligent leadership this country desperately needs. I want to say to my sisters and brothers, keep the faith. Dawn is breaking everywhere. Support our vice president. Thank you.
Oh, okay, good. Hi.
My name is Kaya Marvin, and I'm 16.
I'm Lillian Ellis, and I am 15.
We are youth activists, and we started being activists when we were 9 and 10 years old. And I heard a story on the radio when I was 10 years old about kids being separated from their families at the border and put into detention centers, which was just crazy and not okay.
And there were 15,000 kids in those detention centers. So we decided to try and represent that by making origami butterflies. And we reached that goal of making 15,000 butterflies very quickly and ended up being invited to Washington, D.C. by Senator Jeff Merkley, and where we displayed 15,000 butterflies as well as visited all 100 centers.
We also got to have a press conference with Nancy Pelosi, and we visited former Senator Harris's office, where we met with her staff, and she gave us letters of commendation for our work on children's and immigrants' rights.
We know that the Walls and Harris ticket cares a lot about kids. And I mean, Walls is literally referred to as Coach Walls. So we know that he cares about us and has worked with kids for many years.
And when Kamala Harris was the Attorney General in California, she started the Bureau of Children's Justice to address the issues that were affecting children.
So we can't vote right now, but we're relying on you to vote on behalf of us and all other people who have a voice but can't vote yet. So please get out there and vote.
Thank you so much for taking us seriously.
Hey, it's me, Mark Maron. Now, look, I wouldn't say that I'm a total deadhead, but I'm certainly deadhead adjacent. I certainly listen to the Dead at least once or twice a week. Does that qualify me? Look, I'm just here to say that I don't know if I'm optimistic or hopeful, but I'm definitely not full of despair anymore, because I felt that we were on the verge of losing something very important culturally, politically, globally, in every other way. We were up against a threat of real fascism, which is really kind of a threat against all freedom of thought, freedom of expression, freedom of people's ability to be who and what they want to be and say and do what they want creatively in every other way. And I feel like with Kamala in the game, some of that is coming back. So, okay, maybe I am a little optimistic. Maybe I am a little hopeful, but I don't like to admit it. But it's a great thing that's happening, and I'm 100% on board.
Hi, we're Dark Star Orchestra, and we're for Kamala Harris. The whole world's full of petty war.
ashes, ashes all fall down. Picture brought blue majestic. GZA, possibility.
Hello, I'm Nancy Rodering, the mayor of Highland Park, Illinois, and having gone to college in the Bay Area in the 1980s, how could I not be a deadhead? I also was a slated delegate for Kamala Harris in 2019, and I'm proud to be a delegate at next week's Democratic National Convention. As many of you know, my hometown of Highland Park, Illinois, suffered a mass shooting on July 4th, 2022. 7 precious lives were lost, 48 people were injured, and thousands were traumatized. As an 8-hour manhunt ensued, I heard from President Biden, and I also heard from Vice President Kamala Harris. She was coming to Chicago the next day and wanted to know how she could help. I asked her to come to Highland Park to thank and encourage our first responders, and she did. She also created the first ever Office of Gun Violence Prevention in the White House, a group of talented individuals who work shoulder to shoulder with so many survivors and policymakers to reduce the threat of gun violence in our nation. Every opportunity that she gets, Kamala Harris calls for a federal assault weapons ban, along with so many other important efforts to protect America's public safety. I'm grateful to Kamala Harris for her support in my community's time of need, for her impactful actions to help our nation work to end mass gun violence, and for her vision of a safer tomorrow for all of us. Here's to Harris Waltz in 2024. Inspiration, move us brightly.
Hi there. My name is Jill Wexler, and I'm a degenerate deadhead who supports Kamala. I'm also a forensic social worker at the Legal Aid Society in New York City, and I provide advocacy services for indigent clients who are charged with serious crimes. Now, although New York has some of the most restrictive gun laws in the country, oddly, upwards of 85% of my clients are charged with gun-related crimes. Why? Why, you might ask? It's pretty simple. The reason is white people in red states frequently are the ones who make the gun laws that adversely affect Black people in the blue states, and they don't care. Although it's extremely difficult to legally buy a gun in New York and almost impossible to get a concealed carry license, our poorest communities, as well as some of our affluent communities, are being destroyed by gun violence. Our restrictive gun laws have also created some unintentional consequences. Namely, there's huge profit motives in trafficking guns. And the reason for this is that the red states with lax gun laws will sell guns to people who travel down the I-95, which we were actually just talking about as being our pipeline to dead shows. For gun runners, it's the pipeline to illegal guns. People are running guns up to New York City. And for those people who can't afford to buy guns on the black market, there's a robust rental market. I have many clients who will rent guns and then possibly be charged with the crimes that are also connected to those guns. Now, gun possession sentences in New York can be draconian. It's not unusual for my first-time clients to get 3 years prison sentences with like 5 years post-release supervision. In addition to these draconian prison sentences, my clients frequently have permanent, lifelong, violent felony convictions. This profoundly impacts their ability to get jobs and also to have their housing opportunities. I support Kamala Harris because she oversees the first ever White House Office of Gun Violence Prevention, which advocates for common sense gun safety laws at the state and federal level. And also as Attorney General in California, she was very involved with recidivism. VP Harris understands that we must have common sense gun control laws federally. Thank you very much for your support.
Hi, I'm Jill, and I'm a deadhead who supports Kamala. My education background is in forensic psychology, and I spent years working as a parole officer on the streets of New York, and then decades developing and implementing prisoner reentry programs that provide support to individuals who are transitioning from prison back to their communities. I chose this line of work because I wanted to help people, and I think that by participating in the system, there's an opportunity to make it better. I've seen firsthand that when law enforcement agencies team up with stakeholders in a community, amazing things can happen. Understanding, respect, and trust are built through collaboration, and resources are developed that remove barriers and address needs like housing, substance abuse, mental health, and violence prevention. When people work together, communities are stronger and safer. My experience is what draws me to be passionate in my support for Kamala Harris. Her balanced and reasonable approach to public safety and criminal justice reform benefits both crime victims and offenders. She recognizes that things like jail diversion programs and reentry initiatives reduce recidivism and greatly enhance public safety. She also understands the need for stricter gun safety measures, and as president, she intends to implement universal background checks, red flag laws, and an assault weapons ban. These are public safety no-brainers. I'm horrified to imagine what policing would look like under Donald Trump. Trump is a sociopath and a convicted felon who's against stricter gun safety laws and against the ban on assault weapons. His proposed policies include unlawful and unconstitutional tactics that dehumanize individuals at every point in the criminal justice system and will only serve to hurt our communities. Trump promises to give police full immunity from prosecution, even in instances of brutality and serious misconduct. He wants to widen stop and frisk policies and to expand the use of the death penalty. This is what policing looks like under an unhinged wannabe autocrat. I don't know about you, but I don't want to live in a Donald Trump police state. Kamala Harris believes that every American should be treated with equality, dignity, and respect by law enforcement. She's a human after my own heart. Her even-handed approach to public safety is one of the many reasons why we need to ensure that Kamala Harris is the next president of the United States. So please, please vote and vote for Kamala Harris. Thank you.
All right.
And back to
I
you,
hope y'all
David
are having
Gans.
as much fun as I am tonight. This is so amazing. Everybody's delivering such wonderful, passionate defenses of common decency. That's what we're here for. My job right now is just to ask you to make a donation. We're doing really, really well. Well, our way to $30,000, and we're just less than halfway through this thing. Let's get over 100,000 if we can. You can join. You can donate at deadheadsforkamala.com. You'd think I'd have that memorized by now. Anyway, the next speakers are my wife and one of our dearest friends. I hope you enjoy what everybody has to say tonight. We love you and thank you for being part of this.
Hi, I'm Rita Heralt. And I'm Sandy Sonnenfeld. And we've both been working on campaigns since 2016. A deadhead friend led us to another deadhead friend who is very active in getting people to sign up to write postcards and do phone banking. So we have a long-term deadhead connection to being active, and we hope that we can do that for you, getting you in.
It's very, very easy these days. You can just be as active as you are able to be. We both, as Rita said, we write postcards. We do getting the vote out by phone, letting people know that have been taken off the rolls that this has happened to them, so that they can rectify that. All this is very, very easy these days, and it will ease your anxiety.
Indeed. It eases anxiety, and then later on, when somebody that you've postcarded for does something fabulous in office, you can feel incredibly good about that. When you're working a voter hotline, when the election is actually happening, you get phone calls from people who are having problems, and it's amazing to have somebody say, yes, I got my vote counted because I got to fill out that thing that you told me about. It's truly wonderful. And all these organizations that take volunteers have tremendous support staffs. So whatever you want to do, they will help you figure out how you can do it. And whatever your skills are, whether you've ever done this before, all I can say is start somewhere. Find something that you think, yeah, I've got 5 minutes to do that in a day. I'll send a postcard a day, and that'll be great. Everything counts, every single thing.
And here are 3 organizations that are particularly in the postcarding game: Postcards to Voters, Field Team 6, and Reclaim Our Vote. We've worked with all of these. Another organization that I highly recommend is Vote Pro Pros. This is the organization that is a voter protection organization. Very good to work with. And then there's the house parties that one can have. And Rita and I are planning one for the organization called Movement Voter Project. So these are all ways without much stress that one can become involved.
Yeah, I was hesitant to get involved earlier on. And once I started, I found it's a fabulously wonderful thing to do. And I just want to say that this is a time where we get a chance to show the whole world that some of us here still believe in democracy. We still think it's the best way to go, the best way to run a country, and that we are willing to do the work required to keep our democracy.
Let's get out the vote. Let's do it.
We can do it.
Hello there. My name is Jackson Gillies. I am a deadhead and a musician and a type 1 diabetic since the age of 3. Hopefully, help is on the way for us type 1 diabetics who rely on insulin every day to survive. We can't go more than a couple of days without it. Vice President Harris has capped the cost of insulin at $35 per vial for seniors with Medicare. But moving forward, we need Kamala's help to make it $35 for all ages and easily accessible.
Paradise waits on the crest of a wave, her angels in flame. She has no pain. Like a child, she is pure, she is not to blame. Poised for flight, wings spread bright, spring from night into the sun. Don't stop to run. She can fly like a lie, she can't be outdone.
Hi, I'm Jean Sikora. I'm a licensed clinical social worker. I'm a deadhead, and I'm for Kamala. And I want to speak just a minute about healthcare and Kamala's platform for ensuring everyone has access to affordable coverage. I've spent the last 45 years working with people who suffer from substance use and mental health challenges. And the people and the communities that I serve have difficulty finding the care they require. And this is often tied directly to their insurability or their insurance status. Affordable coverage that offers equal access, which implies that everyone has the same opportunity to receive the same level of care, And equitable care, which demands that everyone has the opportunity to attain their full health potential, regardless of any social circumstances, is the kind of care that people need, that people deserve. People who suffer from substance use and mental health challenges, who are underinsured or uninsured, often find themselves in a healthcare desert when it comes to obtaining traditional care like detox or residential care or even hospitalization. And there are other services that are essential for recovery, services we don't necessarily think or talk about, like access to life-saving medications, psychiatric care, therapeutic interventions like seeing a therapist or having a counselor, and then housing options like sober living or respite housing. Kamala supports a healthcare platform that promotes affordable coverage for all, allowing access to equitable and equal care. I'm Jean, I'm a deadhead, and I'm for Kamala.
Okay, I've been asked to talk about healthcare as well. First of all, this came today from the Biden-Harris Center for Disease Control. They advise not living on Reds, vitamin C, and cocaine. You'll lose your spark. There are lots of differences between how a Trump-Vance administration will handle healthcare from a Harris-Walz administration. Trump at times continues to say he wants to get rid of the Affordable Care Act. You know, he tried to do that in his first term when he had the House and the Senate. I was in the Senate at the time, and when Trump was elected, I was curious what the Republicans were going to come up with to replace the ACA. They had 7 years since it had passed, so I thought they'd come up with something. The Cato Institute, at least, would come up with some kind of supply-side healthcare plan. But no, what they did come up with was just terrible. It got rid of Medicaid expansion, which meant that 20-some million Americans would instantly lose their coverage. On top of that, premiums were going to shoot up for Americans, especially people between 50 and 65. All told, there would be 51 million Americans, new 51 million Americans without health insurance. When John McCain gave the thumbs down, it saved the Affordable Care Act. Thank God for him. Trump's reaction was to say, who knew healthcare would be so complicated? Well, the answer was everybody who knows anything about healthcare. I see that I'm running out of time. There's so much to talk about on healthcare. One is addiction treatment, mental health treatment, and I think I'm going to end here. But thank you all. Let's get behind Kamala and Tim, and let's win this for America.
Hi, I'm Jim Lebrecht, and I'm a deadhead, and I support Kamala and Tim. I'm also a member of the disabled community, so I'd like to give my image description. I'm an older white guy with a gray shirt on and glasses and curly hair. Now, in my community, we do that for people who are blind or low vision. This is the same thing that Kamala Harris did in 2022 at a meeting with disabled activists. It was a 88th anniversary event. So what happened after that? The Republicans mocked her. They said, "What? Why is she telling blind people what she's wearing?" Well, my friends, they are clueless. They do not know or understand our community or have a sense of how other people in the world relate to each other. So I remember back in 2015 when Donald Trump mocked the reporter Serge Kovaleski. He said, "Oh, you should see this guy." He was mocking this man's disability. So, I mean, he said, you got to see this guy, right? So, lastly, I want to say that I read recently of Fred Trump, Donald Trump's nephew. And Donald Trump said to him, you know, your son with a disability doesn't recognize you. You know, why don't you simply like let him die? And why don't you just move to Florida? Well, I want to tell you that I'm not better off dead. I'm better off as a deadhead. So I'm going to hand this over to John Kaletsky. Almost got through all of this. John, it's yours.
Hi, I'm John Kadlicic, and I'm a deadhead who supports Kamala for President of the United States.
This is Melvin Seals, and I'm a deadhead for Kamala. Hold her tight and don't let go.
Hey, I'm Holly Bowling, and I can't wait to see Kamala Harris become the next president of the United States.
Hi, I'm Terry, a lifelong deadhead, a public high school teacher, and a mom of 3 deadhead boys. I am definitely a deadhead for Kamala. I've spent years following the music and messages of the Grateful Dead and sharing that with my own kids and the ones I've taught over the last 25 years. Being in the dead community has always been about creativity and resilience and being part of an ethos where individuality and community, they're not in competition with one another. They're not competing forces. They are cornerstones of a healthy society. And we need to teach kids how to be that and reflect that. But those are the qualities that I see reflected and championed by Kamala Harris and Tim Walz. And just like the world of DED shows and tours, and now we have residencies as well, where everyone comes as they are, that's what every child deserves in their education. In order to thrive, they need to be welcome and supported in their individual needs. Kamala's commitment to improving education is evident in a bunch of different things that she's done, but one of the ones that I find most important is her advocacy for universal pre-K and also increased funding for schools. She recognizes that long before kids reach kindergarten, their education begins and they need access to the highest quality teachers and the best resources they can get. So by advocating for universal pre-K, she's ensuring that every child, regardless of their background or regardless of where they come, they have the opportunity to start their educational journey on the right foot. She also understands that teachers are the backbone of our education system and a critical part to the net that keeps all of our children healthy and safe. Also, she's a strong supporter of increasing funding for teacher pay and providing the necessary resources for schools. In my first 5 years of teaching, I was at a school where I had no budget for supplies. All of the chemistry supplies that I taught with, I provided out of my own pockets, and not everybody is able to do that. And kids deserve better than that. In the spirit of the Grateful Dead, Kamala Harris's educational initiatives are about bringing people together, supporting one another, and looking out for our most vulnerable, and being part of a collective future for everyone. Please scroll down and donate and get out and vote. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Greg Knight, and I am a Deadhead for Kamala. It's an honor to have the opportunity to speak tonight about education in the future. So day to day, I'm a music publicist representing some of the best musicians in the jam scene and beyond. And like many folks in the music industry, my journey here has been anything but a straight line. If I had to draw it, I imagine it would probably look a little something like a 13-point lightning bolt. So I started my career as a sixth grade teacher, and I moved on to educational recruitment and eventually became the director of Turnaround Arts New York City, which is a Kennedy Center program dedicated to revitalizing schools nationwide throughout the arts. So I've worn many hats, and now the latest and greatest title I've earned is Dada to my 1-year-old daughter, Cora. I was hoping she'd join us tonight, but that time was a couple of hours ago. So as a father, my perspective on the future has really sharpened. Our children deserve a world where education is not just a privilege, it's a right. And this is why I'm so passionate about supporting Kamala Harris for president. Not only does she talk the talk, but she walks the walk. Throughout her illustrious career, she's championed transformative educational policies, understanding that education is the foundation for a prosperous future. While in the Senate, she advocated for universal preschool and free college for all. She co-sponsored numerous initiatives, funding activities and enrichment programs for students with a particular focus on girls, underrepresented minorities, and those growing up where resources are scarce. These policies are not just about education. They're about ensuring every child, regardless of their background, has the opportunity to succeed. She's been a vocal advocate for student loan forgiveness. She's championed policies to make community college tuition free, and provided substantial investments in HBCUs. These efforts aim to make higher education not an unattainable dream, but a realistic opportunity for all Americans, paving the way for a more educated and economically secure nation. So I'm running out of time here, but with Kamala Harris as president, I'm confident that Americans of all walks of life will have a brighter future. So thank you to the organizing committee, and thank you to Dave at Not Fade Away Clothing for this Steely t-shirt. To all the speakers and each one of you for joining tonight, please scroll down and donate. We need all the support we can get. See you in November.
Okay, folks, we had a great standard bearer who gave us years of tremendous leadership, but we suddenly realized he no longer had the health or strength
Hey guys, I'm Eric Krasno, and I'm a deadhead supporting Kamala Harris for president.
Just like Jack the Ripper, just like Mojo Ham, just like Billy Sunday on a shotgun ragtime band, just like New York City, just like Jericho, pace the halls, climb the walls, and get out when they blow. Did you say your name was Ramblin' Road? Ramble on, baby, sitting down easy. Ramble on, road, just like Jack and Jill. Mama told the jailer, one eat up and one cool down, leave nothing for the tailor. Just like Jack and Jill. Papa told the jailer, one go up and one go down, and do yourself a favor. You say your name was Ramblin' Rose. Ramble on, baby, sitting down easy. Ramble on, road. I'm gonna sing you 100 verses of ragtime. I know this song, it ain't never gonna end. Gonna march you up and down on the county line, take you to the leader on the bed. Did you say your name was Ramblin' Road? Ramble on, baby, settle down easy. Ramble on.
Hi, I'm DJ Logic. I'm a deadhead, and I'm fired up to support Kamala Harris as the next United States president.
Hi there, I'm Kathleen Rogers from EarthDay.org. It's a nonpartisan organization, so I'm here speaking on my own. People want to know who we are, Deadheads for Kamala. What are we exactly? I tell them we're from everywhere and that we're teachers, truck drivers, medics, firefighters, cops, office workers, farmers, environmentalists, and yes, even a few politicians we saw here tonight. And we all have at least two things in common. The dead, of course, and a stake in saving the planet. And I also tell people what else we are. We are for Kamala and Tim. Kamala's support for our planet goes back to her days in San Francisco, so this is not new, not contrived. And President Harris will bring that experience and those great ideas to add to the great work that President Biden started, investing billions of dollars in lots of red states and some blue states in clean energy while creating thousands of jobs for Americans. She also cares about environmental justice for everybody, irrespective of demographics. Because one thing we know is true: air pollution, water pollution, climate change, the health impacts of fossil fuel and plastics don't have boundaries. She'll protect our health, and I know she intends to build and continue to build a massive green economy for all of us. We don't have much time to get it together, and she knows that. And we all know what Tim Walz is all about. He supported and signed in Minnesota one of the greatest climate bills in the U.S. We know where he stands. On the other hand, we're living with a completely out of whack Supreme Court that's determined to undermine everything I and everybody else has done to protect the earth since that first awesome Earth Day when 20 million people came out and protested the state of our air, our water, and dozens of the environmental laws we all enjoy were passed. And if you read or listened to that really super crazy conversation between Elon and Trump today about climate change, you know how important this election is. So if we keep up the hard work, and it's going to be hard work, we can, both literally and figuratively, count on breathing a whole lot easier by midnight or so on November 5th. Congratulations to everybody who made this happen, and don't forget to vote.
All right. Hello, my fellow Deadhead brothers and sisters. Yep, I'm live. Yes, yes. I am a STEM librarian. I've been doing this for about 20 years. I work with scientists and educators and policymakers, students, engineers. I'm also a citizen of planet Earth. So the environment is very important to me and also to future generations. What we need is a president who trusts science, who supports scientists, who cares and invests in local communities that are grappling with air and water pollution. Kamala understands science. She knows that the more we learn about the environment, the better equipped we are to solve the problems. We need a president who knows that we are in a climate crisis. And Kamala understands this assignment and she is taking action. She helps to support local and global initiatives that could mitigate the impact of climate change because the climate has changed. We don't need to debate that anymore. The climate has changed. So it's really time to act. It's time to invest in solutions. And Kamala is that president who is going to listen to science, and she's going to listen to the people locally here at home in the United States or in your communities, but also on a global scale. So thank you for your time today. You can donate if you wish to Kamala, deadheadsforkamala.com. And thank you very much.
Hey now, fellow Deadheads. My name is Robin Rehak, and I'm a Deadhead for Kamala. My first show was November 11th, 1985 at the Meadowlands in New Jersey. At the end of set 2, we heard a rip-roaring Throwing Stones, which became a personal anthem of sorts for my growing environmental awareness and advocacy. I've spent most of my career advocating for and raising essential funds to protect our planet and people. As the song goes, history's page will be neatly carved in stone. The future's here. We are it. We're on our own. There's a reason why Kamala Harris has won the endorsement of over 350 environmental justice advocates last week for her commitment to environmental justice and her bold leadership to fight climate change. Over my long career in environmental advocacy, I've seen countless examples about how those impacted most by pollution have the least power, the least financial power, the least political power, and the most pollution, the most lead poisoning, the most heat, and the most flooding. And if you want to really understand the reality of climate change, and if you caught the shows at the Sphere in Vegas, you know what I'm talking about. Extreme heat. Extreme heat is the deadliest natural hazard in the U.S. It kills more people every year than hurricanes, tornadoes, rip currents, and lightning. So about 80% of the US population lives in cities. Bringing back the trees to city streets can help reduce surface temperatures by up to 40 degrees. To sum it up, it's now or never. Our elected leaders must act. 19 years ago, Kamala Harris created the first environmental justice unit in the nation to prosecute environmental crimes. And she's proven herself again and again to bring critical funding and critical power to those most in need. As the song goes, we will leave this place an empty stone or that shining ball of blue we call our home. The choice really is ours. Let's do this. Donate generously tonight. Deadheadsforkamala.com. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Gene Karpinski, and I'm a deadhead for Kamala. I'm also an environmental activist, and we know the climate crisis is real. We've seen every week droughts, wildfires, floods, intense storms of all shapes and sizes. It's real, and we need to solve it. And that's why the choice in this election has never been clearer. Kamala Harris is a climate champion. Donald Trump is a climate denier. Kamala Harris has been a climate champion throughout her career. In fact, as Attorney General, she sued Big Oil to beat them in the courts. As a senator, she championed environmental justice legislation that would help create hundreds of thousands of new clean energy jobs. And as vice president, she cast the deciding vote on the single biggest investment to help solve the climate crisis in the history of this country, in fact, in the history of this world. So the choice has never been clearer. The stakes have never been clearer. We can go forward or we can go backward. And yes, Donald Trump wants to take us backward. He thinks climate change is a hoax. And he asked the big oil companies to give him $1 billion to do their bidding. So the choice has never been clearer. And now it's time for us to act. And yes, first, we need to put our gold money where our love is. But second, let's create ripples and ripples of action. Let's lead, not follow. Let's rock the boat. Let's get out the boat. Let's win. Let's do it today. Thank you.
Well, howdy. We're Bertha, Grateful Drag. And we're
Deadheads for Kamala. I can't stay much longer, Melinda. The sun is getting high. I can't help you with your troubles if you won't help with mine. I gotta get down. I gotta get down. Gotta get down to mine. You keep me up just one more night. I can't sleep here no more. Little Ben clock says 8:15. You kept me up till 4. I gotta get down. I gotta get down, or I can't work there no more. Lot of poor men make a $5 deal, keep him happy all the time. Some other fellas making nothing at all, and you can hear him cry. Can I go, buddy? Can I go down? Take your shift at the mine. Gotta get down to the Cumberland mine. Gotta get down to the Cumberland mine. That's where I mainly spend my time. Making money $5 a day. Made any more, I move away. A lot of poor men got the Cumberland blues. He can't win for losing. A lot of poor men got to walk the line just to pay his union dues. I don't know now, I just don't know if I'm going back again. I don't know now, I just don't know if I'm going back again. I don't know now, if I'm going back again. We're not going back.
Hi all, I'm Scott Mauvais, and I'm a deadhead for Kamala. I'm so excited to be part of this community, just as I have been for decades, ever since the Greek in 1984. The Dead have always been known for innovation, be it the wall of sound, allowing taping, the creation of GDTS. As Deadheads, we've created untold innovative business models to get ourselves from show to show. We created things like The Well, like Netheads. The U.S. has always been the world's tech leader, and look at the record. The biggest strides have always taken place during Democratic administrations. We need that to continue. Looking forward, we have the opportunity to create and use technology, AI, to create medicines more quickly, to amplify teachers, to help us respond to climate change. I believe that AI can be the great equalizer by lifting everyone up. And we need to elect Kamala to make this a reality. We have the world's most innovative companies, the most successful entrepreneurial ecosystem. How did that happen? It happened because of decades of directed government involvement with the tech industry, first during the war and then through the space race. The other side will tell you that rolling back regulations is pro-business. That's not pro-business. It's pro-chaos, and it doesn't accelerate innovation. The proven way to boost innovation is through government engagement with industry, not simply laissez-faire talking points. The Biden administration and VP Harris have a track record of doing this right. We need that to continue. Take the CHIPS Act. It provides $50 billion of investment to bring semiconductor manufacturing back to the United States. It also provides workforce development funds so we don't leave workers behind, like the Republicans did to textile workers, auto workers, and other people in manufacturing. Just like it takes investment to build an innovation ecosystem, it takes investment to run a winning campaign. We have 84 days left. We're on the upswing. We have the momentum. Let's keep it. I hope you'll join me and thousands of other deadheads on this call and scroll down a little below the video and hit the contribute button. All the money will go directly to the Harris-Walz campaign. We need your support to win this election. The stakes are too high not to win, and we will do it. With that, I'm going to pass it over to my friend Ting.
Hi, my name is Ting Vogel. I'm a deadhead and I support Kamala. I've worked in tech for 30 years. The ratio of men to women in tech when I first started was over 10-1. Growing up, I was told that engineering was not for me. Why not? I like taking things apart, putting things together and figuring things out. Why would I change what I want to do because I aspire to work in a male-dominated field? In the perfect world, that should not matter. We're not in a perfect world. As the years pass, I gravitated more and more towards companies that promoted diversity, equity, and inclusion. Qualities I highly value, which today is made into a dirty word by the Trumpers. And that really is what is at stake. Kamala inherently understands the equity issues, which is a first step towards common sense legislation, such as reproductive freedom, affordable health care, fair housing, and equal pay. We should never take democracy and freedom for granted. I see a lot of grumblings on social media about the lack of choice with a two-party system. How about a one-party system? Because that is exactly the world that Trump is striving for. He already promised there will be no need to vote anymore if he is elected. My parents grew up in communist China during the Japanese occupation. They tell me stories of families made to kneel on broken glass, including children and the elderly. My Taekwondo grandmaster grew up in North Korea. I don't know what it's like to be in their shoes. I only know that they endured severe hardship and danger to escape to a place that offered them freedom. Trump aspires to be a dictator. He wants to turn this country into North Korea or Russia. Both countries have elections where the dear leader always wins. That is the America that Trump wants. The question is if you want that America. We are so blessed that we have the freedom to vote, to speak, and to direct our own future. Imagine a world where you have none of that. That would be a world where Trump takes back the presidency. What we want is a president who is forward-thinking, empathetic, smart, brave, and who will uphold democracy to the best of her abilities. We need the energy and spirit that Kamala brings to the table. If we want to preserve our way of life, we all have to do our part to make sure that Trump does not win. Please scroll down and donate to protect our future. Now I'm turning you over to the inimitable Representative Dave Rogers.
The inimitable. Wow. Thank you very much, Ting. I appreciate that. My name is Dave Rogers, and I'm a deadhead for Kamala. From the late 70s to the Sphere this summer, this music has animated my life, and now it's helping to energize our activism. And in addition to being a deadhead for Kamala, I serve in the Massachusetts House of Representatives, where I proudly represent Arlington, Belmont, and Cambridge, Massachusetts. I'm excited to be here with my fellow deadheads and activists, and I've been asked to speak to you about the economy and jobs. You know, Trump left office having shed 3 million jobs in America. And since then, the American economy has recovered and added 15 million jobs. That's more jobs than any administration in the history of the United States of America. And it didn't happen by accident. It's a responsible governing party that passed an infrastructure law, that passed the CHIPS law that you just heard about, that passed the Inflation Reduction Act, and of course, critically, to help us recover from COVID, the American Rescue Plan. And hence, we have 15 million new jobs. We are at near record low unemployment. The Biden-Harris administration has been the most pro-union administration since Franklin Delano Roosevelt. And Kamala Harris has been right there making sure that workers can stand up for fair treatment in the workplace and fair pay. And we know when it comes to the economy, Americans are worried about the cost of living. Kamala Harris has been right there fighting to bring down costs for all of us. She cast the deciding vote in the Senate for the Inflation Reduction Act, helped cap the price of insulin. Look at the other side. That record compared to Trump's, where he shed 3 million jobs and cut taxes for the wealthy and for corporations, which took our economy backwards. Well, with our activism and our energy, deadheads, we are not going back. We are going to fight. Please make contributions as much as you possibly can to support the effort. It's been wonderful to be with you all. And thanks to all the musicians as well. I've heard some great music tonight. So onward.
Hey, I was supposed to come on a few minutes ago and ask you to donate, but I was downstairs enjoying the show with Rita and Sandy, and it's been so great that I forgot to come upstairs and do my part here. So I'm doing it now. We're a little over, I guess, about $37,000 now. It would be so great if we could get over $100,000 by the end of this program. We've got, another half an hour or so to go, give or take 20 minutes. I don't know how long we're going to run over, but it'll be available for viewing later as well. Please visit deadheadsforkamala.com and make a donation, and make a generous donation. And don't forget, this is a campaign that's going to last until November. Share your enthusiasm, your energy, your love, and your joy with all of your friends, and please encourage them to participate as well, to vote, to donate to their local candidates. And by the way, pay attention, read newspapers, learn what's going on in your town so that you can cast your vote wisely. And now let's move on with the rest of the program.
LPGOB, and I am a deadhead, and I support Kamala Harris for president.
Hi, I'm Roger McNamee from Moon Alex. I'm a deadhead. I went to my first show in the summer of 1973. Now, you guys may remember that Jerry used to tell us that politics and music don't mix. But I think Jerry would look at today and tell us something very different, which is that our friends, our brothers and sisters, are under assault by one of the political parties of the United States. Democracy is literally on the ballot this year. And the Republicans are saying that if they win, this is going to be the last election we have. And they have Project 2025, which is all about taking rights away from women, from people of color, from LGBTQ people, from immigrants, and from all sorts of other brothers and sisters of ours. I think it's really our duty this year to do something that maybe we've never done before, which is to get involved as best we can in the political process. That means being registered. That means voting, but it also means encouraging our friends to do the same. Now, Moon Alice has put out a song called Kamala, Follow Her, because that's a way we can contribute. And the thing is, each one of us has a way we can be part of this campaign. And I would encourage you to do it. Why? Because we're deadheads.
Hello. My name is Graham Lesh. I've quite literally been a deadhead since birth, and I support Kamala Harris. Standing on the moon, got no cobweb on my shoe. Standing on the moon, I'm feeling so alone and blue. See the Gulf of Mexico, as tiny as a tear. The coast of California must be somewhere over here, over here. Standing on the moon, I see the battle rage below. Standing on the moon, I see the soldiers come and go. There's a metal flag beside me, someone planted long ago. Oh, glory, standing stiff, crimson, white, and indigo. Oh, glory, standing stiff, crimson, white, and indigo. Indigo. I see all of Southeast Asia. I can see El Salvador. I hear the cries of children. I hear the songs of war. It's like a mighty melody that rings down from the sky. Standing here upon the moon, I watch it all roll by, all roll by, all roll by, all roll by. Standing on the moon, talk is cheap and vision true. Standing on the moon, but I would rather be with you. Somewhere in San Francisco, on a back porch in July, just looking up at heaven, at this crescent in the sky. In the sky, standing on the moon,
Hi, I'm Jake Kern, and I'm a deadhead for Kamala because I know that Vice President Harris is the candidate that will give us a safer planet. As a 28-year-old born and raised in New York City, I know how scary the consequences of global instability and failed foreign policy can be. And I know we need politicians who leave us certain in uncertain times and feeling secure in a world that feels increasingly insecure, unsafe, and uncooperative. From civil violence in Venezuela to open war in Eastern Europe and the intolerable conflict in the Middle East, it feels like we're slipping into unrest at a time when we need to heal a planet that we're all making increasingly inhospitable. I'm a deadhead for Kamala because Vice President Harris is a leader whose vision is forward to building bridges and creating unity for the next 100 years, whose politics don't leave us here on our own. We need leaders in the White House who understand the fundamental sanctity of human life, the importance of choosing love over division, and lining their own pockets. And I'm a deadhead for Kamala because we need leaders with judgment. Look at their vice presidential candidate picks. Kamala chose someone who spent his time in Congress persecuting human rights violations in China. And Donald Trump chose someone whose foreign politics leave their colleagues scared for their own lives. We only have one planet. We share it with billions of people on this earth. I shared it with all the deadheads who came before me, including my parents. And I want to share it with my children and their children after them. But that means we need a planet left. That means leaving the bombs to the base players and electing leaders who push us together, pull us together, not push us apart. And now I'll give it over to Congressman Nickel.
All right. Hi, everyone. I'm Wiley Nickel, and I represent North Carolina's 13th district in the U.S. Congress, and I am a deadhead for Kamala. Chasing the Dead is the last great American adventure. In a world so divided, the Grateful Dead reminds us that music has the power to bridge divides and bring people together. I brought the Lightning Skull with me to the floor of the U.S. House of Representatives to pay tribute to the Grateful Dead. I also serve on the House Financial Services Committee, where the Fed Chair Jerome Powell comes to testify. I had seen the Bigfoot photo of him at a concert, and I asked him at our committee hearing, and he said, yes, I'm a Grateful Dead fan. I've been a fan for 50 years. So bringing the Dead with me to Congress. And I'm not just a fan of the Dead. I'm a believer in the values that we share. And that's why I'm here to talk to you today about why Kamala Harris is the best candidate for president. The election is a crucial crossroads, a choice between two very different directions for our future. I think it's important to talk about how this election won't just affect you and me, but the entire world. As a senator and now vice president, Kamala Harris has taken on Vladimir Putin and is a strong supporter of NATO. She's met with over 150 world leaders to strengthen America's alliances because she understands that our strength abroad is directly tied to our strength at home. Compare that to Donald Trump, who cozies up to dictators like Vladimir Putin and threatens our NATO allies. Kamala Harris has proven that she knows how to work with our allies, not against them, and that our strength abroad is built on the same values that unite us here at home, values like freedom, democracy, and justice. So don't tell me the Harris Walz ticket ain't got no heart. Make a contribution, spend time volunteering, and please join me in doing everything you can to make sure Kamala Harris is our next President of the United States of America.
Oh, hi. My name is Audrey Foster. I'm an airbrush artist and an entrepreneur. And I've been a deadhead for 50 years. I started during the Wall of Sound. And I think when I went to that first show, I just knew that that group of people, if I had to be stuck with a massive amount of people, those were the ones for me. And I feel that Kamala Harris gives me that same sense of hope, community. Anyhow, I'm going to touch on something that's a tiny bit, a little hot topic, but as a Jewish American who has traveled the world extensively and lived abroad, I take comfort in Vice President Harris's informed, experienced, balanced, and compassionate perspective. Voicing sympathy for both humanitarian conditions in Gaza while remaining staunchly committed to Israel and fighting anti-Semitism. She wasn't born with a silver spoon in her mouth. As a woman, She's got compassion and understanding towards women's rights far beyond just here in the USA. Kamala is the candidate who will advance community and care globally. And that's what being a deadhead is all about. I was also really sad about our choices. I thought for the first time in my life, I really might not vote for president because I felt like they were such horrible choices. But with her now, I feel hopeful. I feel like they can make a Kamala sign, like with the Obama with hope, and feel uplifted. And I'm also so uplifted by what all of you have been speaking ahead of me have said in every kind of category and area. I just feel hopeful. And that's it. I feel confident.
Hello, I'm just popping back in again to say thank you to everybody who's participating in all this. What an amazing, soulful, smart bunch of people we are. I've learned so much listening tonight. I think we're in the neighborhood of about $40,000 here, and I have this great wish that we can get to 100,000 before the end of the program. We've got a bunch more lovely, soulful people yet to speak to you and inform you about stuff that's coming up. I hope you're having as good a time as I am, and I hope you will make a donation. You can go to deadheadsforkamala.com and make your donation there. The money goes directly to the campaign. I forget the exact legalities of it, but the money goes where it's supposed to go. And all of us here are volunteering our time in support of this vital topic here, preserving democracy and making sure that smart and soulful people get elected to run our government. Let's move on to the next brilliant contributor.
Hi, I'm Dennis McNally, and I'm a deadhead. I went to my first show in 1972, and I later became the band's biographer and publicist. I got my training as a historian, and that's how I came to connect with Jerry. I'd written a book about Jack Kerouac, the king of the beats, the author of On the Road, and I finished it and I sent it to Jerry and Hunter through the Grateful Dead post office box. It just so happened that reading On the Road was one of the really formative experiences in Jerry's life. So he invited me to be the biographer. He took history seriously. Hanging out with Neil Cassidy, the Dean Moriarty of On the Road, kind of helped. And he very much identified with the Bohemian tradition in America, the people who challenged racism and lockstep thinking. He wasn't political. As he once said when he and the Dead testified in front of Congress on behalf of the rainforest, the first time he had ever done something so formally political, it wasn't a matter of politics, it was a matter of survival. And with this election, it's about the preservation of democracy in this country. The Harris ticket represents people who think elections, no matter who you vote for, ought to be free, and that votes ought to matter. That, to quote the Declaration of Independence, all men, hey, it was the 18th century, sorry, that all people are created equal. That is not the core belief of our former president. A vote for Harris is a vote for the Constitution and a vote for fun. Have you noticed? Trump never laughs. I'm a deadhead for Kamala.
This is Wavy Gravy, hippie icon, flower geezer, and temple of accumulated error. And along with my good friends, the Grateful Dead, we're supporting Kamala Harris for President of the United States. Get out there and vote.
Hi, we're the Russo family.
We're deadheads voting for Kamala Harris to protect women's rights.
Hi, my name is Jill Bernstein, and I'm a deadhead for Kamala.
Hi, I'm Jill's mom, Ann Bernstein, and I'm the wife of a deadhead and the mother of a deadhead. So I've been Grateful Dead adjacent since 1969, and I fully support Kamala. I'm so excited to see the momentum growing around the Harris Walls campaign. We need this strong, brilliant woman in office to help us make sure that we are not going back. I grew up at a time when we had to constantly fight for our rights as women, and I had thought we were well past that and that those battles were over 50 years ago and that we were moving forward. The Roe v. Wade decision actually happened the year Jill was born.
I'm kind of getting old. My mom and dad both raised me to get involved. And my dad also raised me to love the Grateful Dead, so I clearly won the parent lottery. My dad actually ran for local office when I was a kid, so my volunteering days started in the early 80s, handing out emery boards and magnets and bumper stickers and
combs and
everything branded with his name. Go Phil Bernstein. When I was 15, I got on the bus, literally, at 4 a.m. with my mom and a bunch of other women in our community, and we headed from New York down to DC, and we marched in Washington proudly when Bush was trying to overturn Roe v. Wade back in '89. That was the first of countless women's rights rallies I attended, because you have to make sure that your voice is heard. It is unthinkable that we're back to that time, right?
Truly.
It is unthinkable that Project 2025 exists and it looms over us, and we can actually lose more rights and our reproductive freedoms.
Harris will be a champion for women, and we all need to be champions for her.
You can donate. Donate if you can, please. Donate at deadheadsforkamala.com. If you go to that page, scroll down, you'll see a donate button. Please, please. And if you can't donate your money, then please donate your time. Volunteer. Do whatever you can do. Learn about the issues. Talk to anyone, everyone that you know. Just about how strong the Harris Walls team is and how they will preserve not just our rights, but our democracy. Because we are not going back.
Hi, my name is Cheryl Rucker, and I'm a deadhead for Kamala. Hello, my name is Sunshine Garcia Becker, and I am coming to you as a multiracial, deadhead, happily married woman, mother, activist, musician, and singer. The reason I'm really here is because today I am very much a supporter of the Kamala Harris Walls ticket. And I believe that a vote for Kamala is a vote for all women. As a gal in the music business, and specifically the Grateful Dead jam band world, I can speak to that experience when it comes to women's rights. I'm a very strong advocate of hiring more women, and not just one woman on stage like they did with Donna Godcha. Thank you very much, Donna Godcha, for your service and your artistry with the Grateful Dead, and not just two female gospel singers with Jerry Garcia Band. Thank you, Melvin Sills, for all of your service. But you can have many competent, talented women on stage because, simply put, there is plenty of room, wide open space, and listeners to put all of us talented women on stage. Not just singing for free either. We can be up there making the same money as everybody else. Equality all the way around is what it's about. I grew up on the picket lines with my parents who were fighting for equality for the Chicano farm workers. It was during that time that I learned that you can make a difference by lifting up your voice loud and proud. Later, as a teen, and then in my 20s as a deadhead, when I discovered the Grateful Dead in 1992, I had access to healthcare, including OBGYN care, where my doctor and I discussed the best options for me. This is a right that I want for all of our sisters. And when our brothers and sisters are under attack, it's time for us to raise our voices. I believe that when, not if, but when Kamala is elected president, it means freedom to make your own healthcare choices. It means equality in the workplace and universal pre-K and childcare more affordable. You can even do anything like become president of the United States. So please donate. Campaigns need money. So even if you got $1, please send it to Kamala.com. Thank you so much. Have a grateful day.
Hi, Deadheads. I'm Amanda, and I am voting for Kamala. When I was asked to address the topic of women's reproductive rights, I don't think anyone really fully understand how deeply personal the topic was to me. And I debated whether or not I wanted to talk about something so personally in front of folks I'm not even sure who is out there watching. But having grown up across the American West, Texas, California, Colorado, Wyoming, Oregon, I have been deeply privileged to receive a lot of guidance and support from a really diverse mix of people. And I feel like my personal relationships with people like deadheads and hippies and military veterans and cowboys from a really young age taught me some important lessons. And most importantly, it was to value everyone's right to live free from excessive government control and overreach. And if anyone is looking for an example of a grossly excessive government overreach, then you don't really have to look any further than civil liberties as it pertains to reproductive health care, specifically to women. If I'm being honest, I don't have a huge desire to discuss such a personal and private part of my life publicly, but I also experientially understand what's at stake if folks like me don't stand up and tell our stories. Because now our government has decided to insert itself into the personal and private matters of women and our doctors. So I come from a very strong line, or long line of strong-willed women who have taught me that I can achieve most anything I wanted in life as long as I approached life with kindness, determination, and the understanding that the world wasn't really made for women like us. I say this because my grandmother had my mother when she was just 16 years old. She was unwed at the time. She was denied access to birth control, abortion. And then when she became a mother, she was denied access to her education, which led her to a life of poverty, picking broccoli as a farm worker, as Sunshine just mentioned, in the Salinas Valley, before leaving to raise my mother in East Oakland in the late 60s and 70s. And my mother and grandmother benefited greatly from a number of the programs that were in that area at the time. And despite all of the challenges that they faced, my mother was able to overcome those things and persevere. And she taught me to be the person that I am today. And that person is a person who has her own reproductive rights journey and has faced a lot of personal experiences in relation to that journey herself. And so to be able to be here today to share the story of my grandmother amongst the people who helped facilitate a life that allowed me to be who I am today is the greatest honor of my life. And I hope that anyone who's watching this today does the same and stands up and tells their friends and everyone around them to make the right decision and to vote for the freedom and liberties of their fellow Americans, specifically the women in their lives who need it.
Hi, everyone. I am Lori Walton, and I'm proud to be a deadhead who supports Kamala Harris. I'm also honored to be speaking on behalf of the Women Are Smarter category because I am super excited to finally have a U.S. president who truly understands the needs of women. I firmly believe that we women have the power to lead Kamala to victory. Since 1980, turnout rates for women voters have exceeded those for men in presidential elections. In the 2020 election, there were 9.7 million more female than male voters. Despite these impressive numbers, we need to keep encouraging and reminding people to vote. If someone is not registered, please encourage them to go online to do so. If a person is registered, let them know the location of the polling places in your area. Now, some people say that they don't vote because of the long lines. So remind them that they can vote early by mail or in person. For my San Diego peeps, our registrar of voters is at 5600 Overland Avenue, which is just off the 163 and 52 freeways. And finally, I've had people tell me that they didn't vote because they didn't know enough about all of the ballot measures. Be sure to tell them that they don't have to vote for everything on the ballot. They can just vote for Kamala. Now, nobody gets to the top alone, but together we can put Kamala Harris in the White House to ensure that our country has a strong, smart, compassionate, capable, and ethical leader.
Hi, I'm Susanna Millman, and I've been a deadhead since the late 70s, early 80s, as a fan and photographer, loving the music and Hunter and Barlow's words, and deeply loving the sense of community and generosity that to me defines the world of the Grateful Dead. The community encapsulates lots of diversity, and it's all okay as long as we care for each other and do no harm. It is a positive and generous culture. Jerry was public about how we are all in this together. And I anticipate and welcome the spirit of inclusivity that I feel will mark the Harris presidency. As an older woman who had finally seen reproductive freedom bestowed on younger generations for a half century and then taken away, I am confident that President Kamala Harris will fight to restore women's bodily autonomy. She knows how to go after people who do harm, and otherwise will be a caregiving president, supporting child-caring families, education, and fighting to reverse climate change. The alternative is unthinkable and retrogressive. I grew up in the 50s, and we do not want to go back there. But it is a steep hill to climb and will take big and devoted effort on everyone's part. So please get involved however you best express yourself. Go online to moveon.org, dailycost.org, the Democratic Party to find activities near you. You want to do what you do best to bring what I consider the core values of the Grateful Dead community to our country with the Harris presidency. Let's get the vote out. Now let the words be yours. I'm done with mine.
K to the A to the M to the A to the L to the A to the Kamala, hey, hey. K to the A to the M to the A to the L to the A to the Kamala, hey, hey. Why would I vote for the other guy anyway? He's so mean and so cray-cray. Orange man mad, orange man bad. He wanna be a dictator just like Vlad. I ain't 210, he wanna be Putin. K to the A to the M to the A to the L to the A to the Kamala, hey, hey. K to the A to the M to the A to the L to the A to the Kamala, hey, hey. Kamala cool, she no fool. She can prosecute this dude and make him drool. Jump on the train, we can make it rain and send all the mean people back down the drain. We tested positive for positivity. We tested negative for negativity. Come with us, we can all be free. K to the A to the M to the A to the L to the A to the Kamala, hey, hey. K to the A to the M to the A to the L to the A to the Kamala, hey, hey. K to the A to the M to the A to the L to the A to the Kamala, hey, hey. K to the A to the M to the A to the L to the A to the Kamala, hey, hey.
I'm Michaela Davis, this is my band, and we are Deadheads who support Kamala Harris.
If my words did glow with the gold of sunshine, and my tunes would play on the harp unstrung, would you hear my voice come through the music? Would you hold it near as it were your own?
sorry about cutting out earlier. I think we were hacked by Iran. My name is Amir Barlev, and I'm a deadhead for Kamala. And I just want to say, we had a great standard bearer who gave us a lifetime of tremendous leadership. But we suddenly realized that he no longer had the health or strength for the job. He seemed to age almost supernaturally before our very eyes. But now the spark has been rekindled in ways that nobody could have guessed possible. Vitality, diversity, and energy have been restored. And I, for one, am so grateful for John Mayer and Dead & Co. But we're not here to talk about John Mayer and Dead & Co. I've been asked to add a few words about why I'm a deadhead and why I'm rolling up my sleeves for Harris Walsh. And because I have an Israeli last name, I think that's why I was asked to tie it into immigration. That's easy. It's not the most insightful thing in the world to point out that the Grateful Dead are, in a way, the Statue of Liberty of American music. Everybody's invited. The Deadhead scene is genre agnostic. Jerry came from bluegrass, Pigpen from blues, Bobby from folk, Phil from jazz, Billy from rock, and Mickey came from outer space. So it's a musical melting pot, and we Deadheads have always understood that you can be, for instance, both Indian and Black, to quote our yellow former president. And I'm sure that the Harris Walsh ticket is going to embody that same great American commitment to pluralism that we learned from the Dead, and in particular from Jerry. And I think both sides of the political spectrum could use a little bit more of that openness and that pluralism. So I'll finish by just saying, welcome in everybody, whether you're Indian or Black, or Indian and Black, or whether you're Jack Straw or Shannon, whether you're Frankenstein, August West, the scary Hells Angels, welcome in prosecutors and farmers. There's a place at the table for everyone in the America we're going to build. And go Kamala.
Deadheads! I am so excited to be here. I'm Rachel Bittekoffer. I'm a 90s deadhead. I caught some Jerry shows by skipping high school. And now I'm a nerd. I'm a political nerd. I am not going to talk about me, though. And I don't even have to spend a lot of time setting up the stakes of this election, because so many people have highlighted Project 2025, Trump's ambitions to be a dictator, and the reproductive control that women are about to lose with it, control of their own lives. So you already have heard how important it is. And that's why I really want to talk to you about two things. Number one, they have 20 billionaires financing the Trump campaign. We have you. And so we need you. If you are cash solvent, dig into that wallet. Make a donation tonight for Deadheads for Kamala.com and put your money where your gold money where your love is, because we are going to be outspent across the board. But there's so many of you, I know, because I was a 90s hippie, I know so many of you don't have the money. And so I want to talk to you about something very, very important that we need you to do. A lot of the problem we have right now is that people aren't paying attention to news and politics. They don't like it. They don't want to get involved. I know you know those people and have them in your world. Please talk to those people about the stakes that we're facing right now. And the most important thing is, we're only halfway through festival season and we've got all the fall tour. Consider donating some of these shows. I mean, many of you guys go to hundreds of these. Donate some direct action pamphleting at these shows. Give out pamphlets to the other fans. Let them know what's at stake. Try to get them to tune in and not drop out. And I'm going to leave you guys with one other piece of advice. You can do that vitamin reds, cocaine, and all of that, but you got to cut that stuff by 25 if you want to have a good, healthy life. So let's get on the road. Make sure that everyone knows the wheel is turning. We can't slow it down. It's time to step up for democracy and the music. The music won't survive if we don't.
Hi. My name's Peter Shapiro, and I'm a deadhead for Kamala. It's harder and it costs more to stand behind the issues that we've talked about tonight. It's more expensive to try and feed everybody. It costs more to try and teach everyone. It costs more to fund research, to protect the environment, and to invest in people, investing in kids. It's harder. It costs more. But we know, and we know as deadheads, it's the right thing to do. It's the right thing to be a good human. And we learned a lot of this, the basics of right and wrong, from the words of Robert Hunter and John Barlow. The Grateful Dead, the music of the Dead, the musics of Hunter and Barlow, it's about more than the dancing, the joy, the fun, which is obviously a big part of it. But it's also about learning how to be a good person. So as deadheads, we know that the right thing is to be a deadhead for Kamala. Peace.
Hi, everyone. I'm Lena Cohn, and I'm a very proud deadhead supporting Kamala Harris for president. While planning this event, I reflected on what it means for our deadhead community to support a presidential candidate. Music and lyrics have brought us together, but values and ethos have kept us strong. Our shared moral compass emphasizes compassion, equality, and support for those in need. We're all like those kids who had a spot at every lunch table, but never had a permanent place. Always welcome, yet always striving for inclusion for everyone. Our community's values guide our choices. In this historic presidential race, Kamala Harris stands out as the candidate who embodies those values. She's committed to fighting for those in need, advocating for equality, leading with kindness, and fostering unity. Together, let's channel the spirit of our communities to support Kamala and bring her to the White House. To wrap up this very special evening, I've asked some key figures, women I'm lucky enough to call my friends, who've been at the heart of our community for nearly 6 decades, to give all of us the inspiration to move you brightly. They certainly have for me over the years. I am a deadhead, and I support Kamala Harris and Tim Walz because I believe in a future where kindness leads and unity wins. And I'm going to ask all of you to please donate tonight. Go to our website. We all love our merch. We've got wonderful merch going on. Please. I feel like maybe the Deadheads broke the internet tonight because so many texts came in and people could not get on. It's kind of like a Ticketmaster kind of thing. But please invite your friends, get them to support this campaign. We thank you all for being here. David Gans.
Well, I was supposed to come on and talk about merch, but Lena already took care of that. Look at this beautiful t-shirt, people. That logo is available on a hat and a hoodie and a shirt and a women's cut shirt and all that kind of stuff. And when you buy that stuff, not only can you run around the world proclaiming your support for Kamala Harris and Tim Walz, but you're also sending some money to the cause as well. And as we know, that's an important part of this whole damn thing. We've got about $42,000 last I heard. It would just be a totally kick-ass thing if we could hit 50,000 before we're all done here. So if you haven't donated yet, please do at deadheadsforkamala.com. Please visit that site and look for the t-shirts and the hats and stuff. Tell your friends. The recording of this is going to be available very soon after we finish. And if you're watching this on the recording, it is always a good time to donate. You can go to deadheadsforkamala.com and it'll pass you along to the place to make your donation. Please pay attention to what's going on in this world. Be an informed, soulful, and joyful voter, please.
Hi, Welcome, Deadheads. I'm Roni Stanley. I urge you to support the Democratic team of Kamala Harris and Tim Walz. As Deadheads, we know that's right. The women are smarter, and we would love to have a multiracial woman president. We also respect her choice of running mate in Tim Walz. Tim is from Minnesota, the birthplace of Grateful Dead good friends Tom Davis and Al Franken. Remember their sketches backstage New Year's Eve with Jerry Garcia in a chef's hat cooking up a delicious meal for you? How you laughed. Minnesotans make us laugh and teach us important values of loving each other and having fun, elevating community and connection. And this is what Kamala Harris stands for too. So go out and vote. This great team of Harris Walz. Tell your friends to vote. Get out the vote. Donate. Do whatever you can to elect Harris and Walz, our next president and vice president. Help us win the election with this great team. Deadheads, you can make a difference. You can make change happen. Thank you.
My name's Betty Cantor Jackson. Hi, all you Deadheads. I'm, like Mickey calls me, dead to the core. And I want to say, get out and vote. This is important. This election this year is the most important I think I've ever witnessed. And I've witnessed quite a few of them. We need to get our girl Kamala into office. We need to get women's rights taken care of. We need to get true honesty and thoughtfulness and real for the people, not for yourself. This is who she is, and this is how we need to represent. And this is how we need to represent our community. We need to get out and vote. We need to get out and raise money for them. We need to volunteer. We need to campaign. We need to do whatever we need to do to get that vote. It's on us. It's on us, just like everybody else. And we are a large community, and we can make a difference. So get ads. Vote.
Hello, friends. I'm Carolyn Garcia, also known as Mountain Girl, and I'm encouraging you to vote for Kamala Harris. It's just about time our country had a woman for president. Kamala Harris is super qualified, incredibly experienced, and has been dedicated to the service of our country for some decades. She'll make an excellent president, honest, reliable, and very enjoyable. I hope you will join us in helping Kamala Harris become the President of the United States in her run for the roses.
Hi, I'm Rosie McGee, and I'm proud to be a deadhead for Kamala. I'm also a cat lady, and my life is not the least bit miserable. I do have a child and 2 grandchildren, and I'm deeply concerned about their future. You know, every single vote in this critical election counts. Every vote, whether you're in a battleground state or not. And you should vote up and down the ballot. All of it is important. We need to generate a tsunami, a mountain of blue votes that's undeniable. Now, how can you help? Well, it may be easy for you to vote. It is for me. But for some people, there are obstacles to their voting, and perhaps you can help a neighbor or a friend or a family member with those issues. For example, somebody who's not computer literate may have trouble registering online, and you can help them with that. Or you could read aloud from the voter's pamphlet for someone that has poor eyesight. Or you can offer a ride to the polls on election day for someone that needs it. Whatever you can do to help, and for sure, please vote. We can do it. We can generate a gigantic tsunami of votes for the Harris-Walz ticket. As they're now known, Team Normal. And you know what? I don't know about you, but I'm ready for some normal. So let's go get them. Thank you. Rosie out.
Lay down, my dear brothers, lay down and take your rest. Won't you lay your head upon your Savior's breast? I love you, oh, but Jesus loves you the best, and I'll bid you good night, good night, good night, and I'll bid you good night, good night, good night, and I'll bid you good night, good night, good night. Lay down, my dear sisters, lay down and take your rest. Won't you lay your head upon your Savior's breast? I love you, oh, but Jesus loves you the best, and I'll bid you good night, good night, good night, and I'll bid you good night, good night, good night, and I'll bid you good night, good night, good night. Walking in Jerusalem, good night, good night, good night. I remember it well, yeah, giving you good night, good night, good night. His rod and his staff shall comfort you, good night, good night, good night. Sing along, y'all. Lay down, my dear brothers, lay down and take your rest. Won't you lay your head upon your Savior's breast? I love you, oh, but Jesus loves you the best, and I'll bid you good night, good night, good night, and I'll bid you good night, good night, good night, and I'll bid you good night, good night, good. We can change the world with just one voice at a time. Good night, good night, good night.